What's going on, guys? It's Steeler here, back again with yet another weekly episode of the RDX podcast. Once again, what's RDX podcast? Well, it's a weekly podcast where we cover all the latest gaming news and more. And of course, I've got an amazing, super diverse, quite Canadian panel today. Just got a complaint from somebody the other day. No Canadians. We do today, so I hope you're watching. We're going to start with Luca. How you been? We're going to kind of introduce people while we filter it in, as we usually do. We got some really cool, awesome, interesting news throughout the show. Luca, what have you been up to?
What's up, brother? What's up? I just want to say I'm so happy to be here tonight, talk about these games tonight. I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed, bro, and it's really hot, and I can't wait for us to talk about it tonight.
Noof Nukem, thanks for joining the panel, brother.
Hello, it's Noof Nukem in the RDX podcast room. Glad to be here, man. Thanks for the invite. This is going to be an exciting cast, especially as we get ever so close to the Xbox One X. Lots of good stuff to get into. Exciting.
The Xbox One X. Fonzarelli, how you been, bud?
Hey, man, I've been good. It's Tuesday night. We all know about that. It's RDX time, even though it's Halloween. So happy Halloween to everybody out there. But we're going to do this thing here, talking games tonight. So let's do it.
Good shit. And, of course, D-Batch, my brother from a different mother. How you been, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. So many topics to talk about. I'm really excited for the show. Sony Paris week, Xbox One X launching. Can you build one for $500, man?
We'll find out in this episode of the pod. Apparently, it's Xbox Paris week as well. And, of course, we're going to have questions. Where's Cold South? Those guys have the children, and they're out doing the Halloween thing. So, thanks for rocking with us. We know it's kind of a weird fucking pagan holiday thing going on today. And for those rocking out with us, we appreciate it. We wanted to get into some lighter subjects, but before we do, once again, thanks. Hit that like button if you appreciate and enjoy the show. As we move into Wolfenstein 2 and Assassin's Creed Origins, we've all got a little bit of time with these games. I want to get kind of the panel members' thoughts of the newest AAA games finally hitting this fall. And, of course, in the chat, let us know what you think as well. Luca, what do you think of Assassin's Creed Origins? No spoilers, of course.
It's amazing. I love it.
All right.
Like, I definitely recommend this game to people. I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game since 4, and then I had to drop that because I thought the sailing was lame. I didn't like it at all. So I'm happy to be back in the series and actually enjoying an Assassin's Creed game because it's been years since the last one. This is good, man. This is a good one. And I'm really happy because so many good games are dropping, and it's like I feel lucky to be a gamer right now.
It's a great time to be a gamer. D-Batch, have you played Wolfenstein or Assassin's Creed?
Assassin's Creed, I actually have it. I own it, but I'm waiting for the Xbox One X to crack it open. So it's just sitting there. I'm staring at it every day. But Wolfenstein, oh man, that game is just beautiful. Like, especially like, I don't even know if it's politically correct to say this, but especially in the climate of the state of the world or the states right now, I gotta say, it feels really good to kill some Nazis.
Yes, kill them.
All right. God damn it, Fonzarelli.
Yeah, you already know, bro. No, I haven't played either.
You haven't gotten to him yet. All right. We'll skip on to Noof Nukem then, bro. Noof, have you played either of these?
I gotta sound like a loser here. No, I have not played either one of those amazing games. Heard tons about them. Can't wait to try them. I've been playing last week's big game, actually, and that was, I guess it came out on the same day, and that was Super Mario Odyssey. And I've been playing some Resident Evil 7 today. And the funny thing about playing Resident Evil 7, it's like, is anyone else here feel like that game came out like years ago, even though it did come out this year? Like, that says a lot about the quality of games that we've had since pretty much like January right on through, that a game like that is kind of like just swept under the radar, so to speak,
I suppose. I mean, I really enjoyed it. You just mean like mechanics wise, it kind of feels dated, or what?
No. Like, it's just like there's been so many games this year that like Resident Evil feels like it came out like years ago, like not from a graphics or play controller, just like like I'm playing it and it's like, man, this game only came out this year. Like there's just been so many games.
A lot of people forget that too. Myself, I've been playing Wolfenstein 2, of course, Xbox Mad Hatter. Why would you do that? Of course, because a good game is absolutely, good. And of course, the reviews for that game are phenomenal. So I know Digital Foundry might have run that game into the ground a little bit on the base Xbox, but to me, it looks absolutely phenomenal. And I don't know, something about the frame pacing must be very good because I'm not really feeling too many drops. But, I don't know. That's all, to each their own there. So Wolfenstein, really enjoying it. Great game. Assassin's Creed did crack it open on the base console just to kind of look and see what it looked like. It looked pretty good. But, of course, I think that game is more suited for the X. And right now I'm just kind of like an X crack rock addict, right? I got a crack rock, a button press away, but I can't push it, even though I own it, and it's a crack rock inside my Xbox. I can't do it until the X comes out. So, really, I'm sure a lot of people are doing the same thing. Digital Foundry, speaking of Assassin's Creed Origins, the Digital Foundry did a video today regarding AC Origins on the PC. They said they couldn't get up to 4K 60 with a 1080 Ti, and, of course, they needed to lock it at 30 frames per second. This is interesting considering the Xbox One X is going to be pushing similar pixel numbers when it comes to resolution on the console at 30 frames per second. What do you think about this, bro?
Well, yeah, it is quite demanding. It is kind of CPU heavy, that game. I'm just hoping that they implement that 1080p 60 frames, or at least unlock frame mode on the Xbox One X, because I am seeing that is capable on PC with like-minded hardware. So
like-minded meaning a graphics card that's like $700 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
I know no one else in here is really a tech junkie. Jay, you got anything to say on this?
No, one thing I will say, somebody asked a question and he wanted to know, this was Schneider Gaming is his name. He wanted to know about the AC. The Assassin's Creed doesn't really look that good on his 4K TV, and he's wondering if this is like the start of suboptimal AAA games for the original base hardware for the PS4 and the Xbox. And I thought that was kind of an odd question, but I guess he thinks that maybe they're progressing, that they're making the games better for the X and the Pro or something. I don't know what he's trying to ask.
I think he is correct. I think the Xbox One X is going to force Sony to do something with the PS4 Pro now. They're forced to make the games better. And from what I've heard, the stuff that we saw at Paris Week was all captured on a PS4 Pro, not the regular PS4. So I think going forward, we probably are going to see more emphasis on Sony and the PS4 Pro, because they got at least another 2-3 years to compete with the Xbox One X being more powerful. So they're going to have to do something on the Pro. So I think it's valid. It's a valid point.
It's important to remember, too, that these games are always getting more demanding. So Wolfenstein 1 to Wolfenstein 2, the difference visually is quite staggering. And, of course, it is more demanding as a result. So not only, I kind of guess as a base console owner, you might would want to think, oh, maybe they're gimping this version to give me the best version there. Because that's not how they do it. They develop the same way they always have. They start with that, they hit a button, they go to the X, and then they add what they can. And I think that they know that. And I think we see that kind of proof as we see Wolfenstein 2 looking absolutely phenomenal on the base Xbox One, in my opinion.
It's been about 4 years now, so I guess you would tend to see the games just progressing in this manner.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed and Wolfenstein are major steps up over the predecessors to me. So Luca's got a bunch of time already, and we might actually stumble back onto that subject. But I thought Digital Foundry's video was interesting. Shout out to almost 400 people watching this live already. Hit that like button, guys. We appreciate it. Thanks for rocking out with us. Of course, Xbox killing off the Kinect. Finally, this is a fucking megaton if I ever heard one. News to me. What do you guys think?
It's kind of sad, to be honest with you, because the technology, it was just ahead of its time. It's the technology is amazing in the Kinect, but I think the fact that they forced it on consumers, it just left a bad taste in gamers' mouths, and they don't really care for it. But it was a great device. I don't really use it anymore, to be honest with you, because I got a new OLED TV and it's really thin at the top, so I don't really have anywhere to clip it on. So right now it's kind of resting up, but there isn't a lot of support for games with it in the longest time. So
that's why I was always when people years ago would say the Kinect is dead, and I'm like, man, when did they ever really advertise in marketing that the Kinect was just for games? They really focused on the multimedia functionality, and that's how I used it, and I thought it worked absolutely phenomenal, provided you had actually tuned it. You did the fucking, what is that called? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, the calibration.
The calibration. So, I thought it worked well when it was supposed to, and
When I stopped using it, it's when they kind of got rid of the snap feature. Because I used to come home and I'd go Xbox on, and would turn on all my shit, and I would say Xbox Snack TV, and I have half my console there and the TV there in the corner, or vice versa. That was awesome. When they took that feature out, I kind of stopped using it as much, and then it wasn't supported by a lot of games, and they stopped talking about it, and just it kind of did fade away.
When the S came out without a native port, you knew, it just was that much less convenient, even though they did provide free adapters for those with Xboxes already at that point. It is what it is. We all were pretty much day one buyers for the most part, and we know that Kinect had its point, and it kind of faded out, and we'll see what happens from here.
Yeah. I just recently got rid of mine. It's one thing, it was sad to see it go, but I wasn't using it overall very much. I think the majority of us who have one or had one or still have one use it for the voice commands. So like you said, it was quite good. We've heard a lot of people complain about the Xbox controller and how it doesn't have, a capture button. But I think Microsoft's intent out of the box was that because they package Kinect in the box, was that most people were going to use the Kinect for the capture and for a lot of the functionality, because it was so easy to sit on your couch and go, Xbox, record that. I used it all the time, and I loved it, and it worked pretty well for the most part, as long as there wasn't too much external noise around your house. But, it's too bad. Like Dee says, it was kind of ahead of its time. But most importantly, I think the biggest reason why it failed, it was because it never did have that killer app. It never had a game that really fully utilized all the features and tech that was in that device. And I think if they did have a game like that, or more games at least use features overall, I think we would have seen a different story for the Kinect. Like, I mean, the fact that you could scan your face into games and stuff, that should have been like a feature with every game where you could create a character. That should have been like standard, across the board. But it is what it is.
Absolutely agree. And you could imagine Battlefield 5 and at the setup menu, it's like, hey, scan your face in, and they could be quite accurate with that stuff. So, I don't know, man. It's kind of sad to see it go, but also expected. I think it did what it was supposed to do for the time that it was there. And I don't think we have any other opinions.
I could attest to that. What Noof Nukem was saying about the whole, external noise being a problem, because with 8 kids, let me tell you, that never worked right with the 360.
Oh man, 8 kids. Woo! You're playing life on hard mode, Fonz.
That's right.
All right. Well, once again, hey, we already pissed off 10 people somehow. Hey, shout out to you for watching the show. Shout out for the other 400 and whatever cool people watching the show. Thanks for hitting that like button. You guys are awesome. It's kind of always interesting when you get some
weirdos in your chat room tonight. What the hell?
Blame Fonz.
Yeah, it's one guy with a lot of time on his hands. Idiot.
Oh man. Oh, that's the stalker guy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's on never mind. All right, so Xbox One digital game gifting is here for those in preview. It'll be hitting the masses here soon, and it does work for both games and DLC, but is region locked. It's important to note that codes do not expire when gifted, to my knowledge. And like I said, rolling out soon. I know we got a lot of opinions around here. Luca, what do you think about this?
I think it's awesome. It's a great feature, especially with the holidays coming around. I just want to say, the Ash and Luca, that's my gamer tag. If anyone wants to, test out game gifting,
you get enough.
I'm completely open to it. But no, for real, it's awesome. I think it's great. And once again, Xbox is coming with amazing features.
Yeah, that's great. Fonz, I know you got an opinion on this, huh? You hate it, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's a great thing. Yeah, send them my way too. It's awesome.
Yep. D, well, I mean, someday you'll be back on Xbox. What do you think about this?
I'm all up for it. Send me all the games. Gamertag Gemini 2, I am down. But in all honesty, though, I like the fact that you can re-gift it. So if you send that code to me and I already have that game, I can actually send it to somebody else and re-gift it. So that's also an awesome feature.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something I actually did not know. So that's actually pretty cool. Noof, you got any opinions on this, bud?
Phenomenal idea. It's a long overdue feature. I know most of the community have been requesting for quite some time now, and I think it's a feature that we're going to see a lot of in the future. And I think Microsoft just finally made it easier for Mooch to Mooch some more games.
As the female mooch, I co-sign that statement. Thank you.
Yes. Well, like I said, very interesting, cool stuff. No other console, to my knowledge, has this feature, at least modern AAA game playing console, and that's fucking awesome. Speaking of awesome, the game of the generation, Roblox, is getting cross-play between Xbox and PC. What do you guys think about that? I know Fonz is a huge Roblox fan.
Yeah. Very, very huge fan. It's an awesome game. Wonderful. If you haven't downloaded it, guys, go download it now and play it with your 5-year-old. Amazing.
That game literally steals music from YouTube, like default.
Yeah.
Knock off music. It's fucking hilarious. But some weird, shady stuff I've heard happens in that game. So, Luca, I'm sure you'll be on that tonight. New Xbox One X enhanced titles. And by the way, guys, before we get into this part, if you don't already follow me at dealer_gaming, we do a live question of the day for these shows. And just check my last post. It's the RDX live question. Submit it there underneath that post. I get those questions all the time after or before the show, and we never get to them because we only check one post. So post your question there, and we can get to it this show potentially. So just figured I'd throw it out there. We're going to have several questions. Call of Duty World War II and Destiny 2 coming to Xbox One X. Of course, this has been confirmed by a media outlet who talked to Microsoft and said every game they were sent in the Xbox One X early unboxing packages, 20 in total, all of them have been confirmed to be getting 4K patches. Fonz, I know Destiny 2 kind of fell off for you, though, huh, bud?
Mm-hmm.
You and 80% of the other people.
Yep, pretty much.
It's not looking good. Lucas ditched it for Assassin's Creed. D-Bash ditched it for some goat petting. And nobody's paying attention to Destiny 2 right now.
I definitely did that pretty soon. Yeah. It's been kind of crazy. I don't know who this other guy is here on the panel, but I tell you, man, he's not the real one. It's really crazy.
Impersonator.
Oh, man. we got All D Digital and D-Batch here. What's up, All Day? We didn't expect you in the show, man.
No, I only came for a couple of minutes, guys. I got to head to work pretty soon here.
Okay, all right.
But
well,
I want it to be a little bit spooky, you know?
Yeah, it's Halloween, motherfucker.
Spooky.
Yeah, it's Halloween. So thanks for dropping by and confusing me. I didn't know if he was actually doing an impersonation of himself. So, yeah, Jay, you got a question or two for us, real quick, before we move on.
Yeah, so Dipsy Doo 23 wants to know. So PUBG exclusive to Xbox with no PS4 ever, since it says console exclusive on the cover.
We're actually going to talk about that later in the show as part of a big thing we're doing for Paris Games Week. So stay tuned. Thanks for the question, though, bud. Motherfucker read my mind.
So here's one for everybody on the panel. How many games on day one are you looking most forward to with the X? Or
yeah, that's
how many?
You first.
How many?
Yeah, how many? And
how
what
many
are they?
games?
I guess.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna play Wolfenstein 2. That's the first game I'm gonna pop in the X, and then I'm definitely gonna see how Assassin's Creed looks on it and performs on it.
Noof.
I think overall it depends on what Xbox One enhancement games are actually ready for November the 7th. Let's hope that the majority of them are, but I'm looking forward to firing up Forza 7, perhaps Rise of the Tomb Raider, and we'll see what happens after those two.
So, All D Digital, since you're here, bud, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for everything. Maybe Forza 7. This looks really good. I can't describe how good those textures look, you know, inside those OLED TVs. Jesus Christ, man.
So you're looking forward to Forza 7. I know you're also looking forward to Witcher 3.
Yeah, Witcher 3 as well. It's going to be great.
Oh, man. D, you're sounding a little fruity there, bud. So, who else? D, I know you get an X day one, right?
Yeah, so the first thing I'm going to fire up is Assassin's Creed. I can't wait to see what that looks like on the X, like with the final patches. Forza, I want to do a comparison compared to the PC version. And Gears of War 2, I want to see what the 60 frames per second mode and the graphic fidelity will look like on the X. So those are the ones I'm looking forward to.
Speaking of 60 frames, I haven't really got a chance to talk to you on the podcast about this. That's actually really awesome fucking news, right? 60 frames per second for Gears of War 4 on the X, confirmed for single player and horde mode. Very surprising there. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't know how they're achieving this, because that game is demanding on PC. You need a really good rig to run it at 4K 60 frames per second. And it goes back to these developers saying that, you know, the Xbox One X performs like a high-end PC. Not every single game, and no, it's not going to beat a top high-end PC, but it's achieving it in some games, and there has to be something said to that.
Yeah, the multiplayer is 4K 60 frames per second. Horde mode, I'm not sure. Single player, I think it's 1080p. But either way, you're getting a good PC quality experience here. And really, the fact that we've even compared it to PC is just a compliment to the
And
box.
then for Gears of War 4, is that day one?
Yeah, that stat patch is already available. And also, I checked today on the Xbox One X Enhanced in my games. I went up to the tab and switched it to the Enhanced tab. Titanfall 2 is there as well already. For me, anyway.
And Battlefront 2 has been added as well.
Yeah. I'm talking about patches that have downloaded to my console already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Titanfall 2 is there as well. So
Nice.
that's good news, man. We got to give a shout out to almost 500 people watching us live. Hit that like button, guys. We appreciate it. Microsoft have started interviewing developers in a series called Inside Xbox One Enhanced, or some shit to that effect, basically trying to get developers to talk about their experiences creating their patches. And it's kind of an official thing, ramping kind of hype up for the thing. I can't believe it's under a week away. Well, for me, I'm going to have it midnight at Monday, so I'll have it in less than a week. Titanfall 2 was the developers they were interviewing today, and of course they reaffirmed up to 6K resolution. That additional 2K will super sample down to your 4K display. And apparently it doesn't really scale below 4K anymore. I think they might have done some more optimization. So, D, I don't think I got to talk to you about this either, man. What do you think about the fact that the Xbox One X is rendering Titanfall 2 up to 6K resolution internally and downsampling that to a 4K screen?
When I saw that, when they said, yes, it allows us to go higher and we put those textures in there, I was like, that's incredible. Just remember, a year ago, people were saying we weren't going to get one 4K 60 frames per second game on the console. We have more than one. We have several. And we have a game that's actually exceeding 4K resolution. Yet people are thinking at $500 this console is not of value.
Oh, man, we got people crying because they didn't get a free game with the console.
Oh, God.
Which is really cringy.
Inside the box is a Game Pass. I believe it's for 1 month. And there's also Xbox Live. So you have Game Pass right in there. Right away, you can fire up games and play them for free for a month. So
100, there you go.
What do you want them to do for you?
Yeah, they gave you 100 games. But I get what they're saying, but the fact that they're saying it is just dumb to me because they don't understand what they're getting in the box. Even Linus Tech Tips, when he read the little reviewer guide, and he's like, whoa, 12 gigabytes of DDR5. That's interesting. Like, a lot of these guys don't know that. They're still behind the curve on some of this stuff. They also don't know that it has a 50% faster hard drive. So it's not running the 5400 RPM hard drive anymore. And I got a really good question about this real quick, New, before I let you get to it, because we might have others wondering. Apparently, there are some people running 5400 RPM hard drives on the right now on the external. So if you have a 5400 RPM external, the same speed as the hard drive inside the console, you can still use that as an external hard drive for your X, apparently. But they're worried about the load time since the 4K assets and all that might slow it down. My theory is it might take longer to initially load it, but once it loads all that stuff into the system's RAM, that stuff should be substantially mitigated. I'm not sure how they're getting around it. I'm not too familiar with it, but they have not said that those hard drives will not work.
I remember reading something saying that they were actually going to use the hard drives to cache some of the memory.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so some type of I can't remember the article, but they're using some type of new software algorithm to help with that as well. Yeah.
So it's interesting. New, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like, I get where you guys are coming from with the terms of the no game inside the box. It is a phenomenal deal for $500. I think the majority of us realize what we're getting. Mind you, I would gladly trade my stand. It's going to come with my Scorpio edition for a game, because honestly, a stand is something I don't use for my S, and I probably won't use it for the X either. So and I think overall the thing that always kind of drives me nuts, and I know it's par for the territory, but it's how, like, you buy something day one and it's like you get the bare minimum of stuff from the company, and we're the most dedicated fans in general, at least I think we are, and then you wait a couple of months and all of a sudden it's packed in with, like, 2 and 3 games. It's like, you know what I mean? It's
I don't think
crazy.
it happens that quickly unless it's some kind of Black Friday deal or something,
Well, what they
Well,
could
the
have
S
did,
came out.
Black Friday is 2 weeks after the launch. Shit.
Yeah.
what they
I'm just
coulda
saying,
did
you get what I'm
is
saying, though?
came
Like,
out,
that's not par for
yeah.
the course for. It's not like, oh, for now on, you just get free games with your shit. We're just going to fuck the early
right?
adopters.
No, what they could have did
Yeah,
is bypass all that and put a game inside a Games with Gold that's enhanced. You know what I mean?
They
Just a
could.
random game. Yeah.
Yeah, or in Game Pass. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Halo 5's in there, but I don't know when that'll get enhanced. So that's a good idea. All D digital. That's a great idea.
I'd say chances are if they
Not
pack the
give
game
him
in
a
with it
name,
anyway, it'd probably be a game we already own, and we just end up gifting it anyway.
Yeah, that was actually one of the next things I wanted to talk about was the early Xbox One X unboxings. A lot of people upset at this stuff. You guys have to remember this is strategic from Microsoft.
Facts.
Remember how they took Digital Foundry, their biggest critic, curb stomp them every chance they got. They handed Digital Foundry the keys to an exclusive unveiling of the specs. They said, you know what? We're going to turn our biggest critics, the people that the haters have gone to for years, and we're going to turn them against themselves. We're gonna impress these guys. They're gonna be our allies from now on, and that's what they're doing with some of these people. Now there are some pretty small channels. I don't get why they send them to people that don't get a lot of views. Right? If I was Microsoft, I wouldn't just say, okay, you got 100,000 subs. I would say, okay, you got 100,000 subs, but you only get 2,000 views a video. That's a problem because we're sending it to you to get views, to get the mess, because this is free advertising to Microsoft. You got to understand this. That's why they're sending out so many of these Xboxes. These massive YouTubers, millions of views. So you probably got 50, 60 million views out there, 60 million more people that know an Xbox One X exists now because they're sending them to these YouTubers. And that's why they're doing this. And no matter if they said something negative, positive, it doesn't matter. They're trying to get out there. This is a form of advertisement to Microsoft. That's why they like it when you share their gameplay. They don't bitch at you.
In one day alone, between
Boogie
Boogie and 2 other guys, they had 1.4 million views.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's
everyone
like
is,
Super Bowl kind of friggin' views right there.
Yeah, everyone is caught up in their feelings right now, and they're like, well, they hated on the Xbox, so why do they get a free one? I'm like, okay, like, they're not going to send Xbox One X's to people who are guaranteed to already buy them. And they're not going to send them to
not even that,
smaller,
though. They're not going to
send them to smaller YouTubers or people who barely get 1,000 views. They're just not going to do that. They're sending these systems to these big-time YouTubers because they want to get the word out there. They are confident in this product, and they feel like they can turn things around. And I think it's smart. Like Dealer was saying, I think it's a strategic move, and I think everyone needs to relax and let it go.
This is part of their marketing campaign. That's what some people are asking. Where are the commercials? This is part of their commercial strategy. Every one of those YouTube videos is a commercial. And that's why they send them to people with a lot of subs. Whether or not they get views is kind of confusing to me, but they do send them to people with a lot of subs. Just more potential for more views, more awareness, and that's what they need to do. So it is what it is, guys. I wouldn't be upset. To those getting upset because you didn't get a free game with the box, that's kind of fucking weird to me because I've been telling you guys for a year and a half that this is a lot of power for what you're paying, and it's come out to be pretty much exactly how I said it would be, and that's good news for you because you get the real next generation. So I don't know. Anyone else got any opinions on this unboxing stuff?
I just want to say I agree with Lucas. People are getting caught up in their feelings a little bit and maybe coming to the realization that they might be doing free promotion. But Microsoft maybe could have did a little bit of goodwill sending it out to a few smaller channels, but I do understand their strategic planning. Of course, these guys have lots of subs, and a lot of people are going to see their videos, and that is, of course, advertising. I wanted to check these guys, so I watched a lot of these unboxing videos, and I have to be honest, everyone that's unboxed it so far that I've seen it, they've been quite respectful. And I kept a particular eye on Boogie because, when the Xbox One launched, he was pretty dirty about it, and
keep in mind a lot of these fuckers grew off of the Xbox One hate, right? But I'm really glad they didn't send it to the most toxic of those who have done so, like Fraud Fox Media and all that kind of stuff.
But even so, Boogie, when he did his unboxing of it, he was very respectful, and he kept saying thank you many times, and he was great how gracious he was, and he's going to take his time to review it. So I'll give respect is due. He did a good job.
Well, that's not just an impressive package that they sent out to people just because, I mean, the console alone would have been something, but holy heck, they put in like
20
how many games, like 20 games or something?
Yeah.
Like, I was losing my mind just watching these guys. I'm like, man, like, yeah, my Christmas is going to be stink compared to these guys. This is only October.
Yeah. And it's such a smart move. It was such a smart move for them to send 20 games. Like, they would look like such assholes if they got a free system and 20 free games and they were just like, yep, this sucks. Fuck the system. Like,
now the question is, when do some of these patches hit? Some people were confused about Assassin's Creed Origins because certain people were saying they're not going to be ready in launch. And I was saying, hey, just wait and see. It's most likely going to be there for launch. So Assassin's Creed Origins is going to be there for launch. Wolfenstein, I'm not exactly sure, but I think that's coming at launch along with an HDR patch. Albert Pinella says 70 games will be getting patched the week of launch. So keep that in mind. Most likely the one you're looking for the most is going to have the patch. And if not, it'll be soon after. So I don't know. Any other opinions? That package was a sweet deal, man. That's over $1,000 worth of stuff they gave.
I want that book.
And they gave him a 4 terabyte hard drive as well. They got even Planet Earth, and like I own Planet Earth, and if you have a 4K HDR TV, that is the movie to watch it on, man.
Yeah, I considered getting it because I kept seeing it. I wasn't 100% sure, but hey, we got to give a shout out to over 500 people watching us live. Hit that like button, share the video. We appreciate it. Thanks for the support. You guys are awesome. Man, that's so crazy. It keeps hitting me over and over. Less than a week away, kind of a big time. So speaking of Albert Pinello, we've got 70 patches available for the week of launch, most of which will probably be day one. But you've got 162 patches confirmed for the X right now. Last week, it was around 150. So at this rate, you're probably looking at around 170 by the time the console comes out. And that's absolutely phenomenal news as well. Fonzarelli, give me some of your opinions on this, man. He's taking a nap.
He's got his mic muted.
He's dealing with his 8 kids.
Okay. D, what do you think about all these patches coming through, bro?
I think it's fantastic. This system isn't even out yet, and it has so much support for games. And we know the story on the PS4 Pro. It doesn't have a lot of support, or the games that do say they are supported by the Pro, we don't even know what they do in that game. It seems to be like an average of like maybe 10 frames better or something.
Apparently there's a decent amount of support for that thing now, but most of it is just so unsubstantial. Like Dirt 4, for instance, it's still 1080p on the Pro with slightly better shadow resolution, for instance. That's their Pro patch. Wow. And that's the kind of stuff you've been getting a lot in a lot of games. And it's like most people don't even count that as an enhancement when you compare it to something like what the X is going to give you, which is going to be very noticeable over the Pro in many cases. But interestingly, Digital Foundry did say that Assassin's Creed on the PC didn't really have any much higher resolution assets for the most part. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't even get to watch it today, unfortunately. I'm going to watch it.
So maybe they'll patch those higher textures in, but as of right now, don't expect a massive texture resolution bump. You're just going to bring out more detail from the textures that are there from the resolution. So anyone else got any opinions about the 162 games? Any requests for games that you don't think are on that list? And that goes for you too, chat.
I got a question. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, my power went out. It came back up. I had to wait for the Wi-Fi to reboot and everything. It was just a mess. Anyway, I didn't hear everything that was said, but what's up with Jim Ryan coming out and saying that the PS4 Pro has like 200 plus enhanced games? Like, I want to know what games are those, because
exactly, most people don't know.
I'm being honest.
They're so unsubstantial, as we just covered. Games like Dirt 4 might have better shadow resolution and better anti-aliasing as their patch, still at 1080p on the Pro. And that's why people don't really know about any of these enhancements, because they're not worth covering and they're not worth getting a Pro for.
For the most part, what I've seen is it's an increased frames per second. Like, it's more stable. So instead of it, dropping it by 4, 5, 6 frames per second, it's steady at 30 or 60. That's the most I've seen the PS4 Pro do.
And
unless they're counting the VR games as well.
And technically, he's correct. I mean, he's not lying. They are enhanced, I guess. They're enhanced.
Yeah, they're fucking half-assed enhanced, just like the PS4 Pro. Let's just.
I really don't think a more steady frame rate should be really should really count as an enhancement. Like,
I think that might be what they're talking about too, honestly, because I've not heard of these fucking titles, and the ones that are enhanced, like Assassin's Creed runs at 1350p on average on the Pro, over 1080p on average on the PS4, and that's pretty much the only enhancement you get, and that's just ridiculous to me.
You guys better stop talking badly about my resolution box. Okay.
I got one of those resolution boxes as well, and I can tell you right now, as somebody who owns a Pro, if you're thinking about it, don't spend the money. Save your money. Get the base PS4 if you want to play some great games like Uncharted 4, Spider-Man later next year. You know, don't buy a Pro as of right now.
Well, the one thing that made me laugh watching the Paris Games Week Sony conference was Loco Roco 2 in 4K. I was like, what?
Jeez.
Yeah. There was plenty of other things that they showed that didn't make you laugh, though.
Oh, yeah. There was some great stuff in there.
Anything that kind of stuck out from the Paris Games Week to anybody aside from the big games we're going to talk about? Any smaller stuff that
I like that Hong Kong game. It was like a top-down type of shooter. Something
that looked cool.
It was called.
Detroit looked really hot for me. Like, I was already interested in the game, but the trailer that they showed and the choices you can make, it's just like, wow, okay. I want mature themed games, and this is what it's going to be. Also, Sucker Punch's new IP looked pretty cool. That Last of Us 2 trailer was pretty crazy. Like, I thought it was cool. I liked a lot of the trailers there.
Yeah.
And now the chat's giving me shit about my Pro. I like my Pro, guys. Okay, I like it. All right, it's the best representation of the Sony games that I can get right now. And
it's the best option he has on the PlayStation side. But there's a reason that he's going to get an X as soon as he can. He's probably going to play Witcher over on the X. Fonz is a fan of the best versions of games. Like it or hate it. That's just how Fonz is. So.
And by the way, Detroit, I agree with Luca. I was excited for this game, and then the trailer that they showed at E3 just looked terrible to me. Like, it didn't get me. And then they showed this at Paris Games Week, and I was like, wow. I was really into this whole thing that they were playing out there, that little story of domestic abuse and everything. I was like, geez. Yeah. They really sucked me in. So I'm looking forward to that game for sure. Of course, Last of Us 2.
We're going to talk about all that stuff later in the show. But, I mean, anything smaller that didn't get a billion fucking videos made about it, D said the Hong Kong game. What is that, like?
I would agree with
Miami ripoff?
Yeah, I would agree with D, the Hong Kong game. I forgot what it was called, too, but it was a top-down. Kind of reminded me like a Max Payne type game, but top-down. It was
the graphics, it was cool. Detailed, the lighting. It looked very, very interesting.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, we got to give shout out to Letha Papa and Jago and all the motherfuckers. Indy, all you guys. Thanks for watching. Buddha Time. Thanks for the support. Belvedere, you're always here, always doing your thing, man. We appreciate it. You guys power the show. And thanks once again, guys. So I wanted to talk about something that might be a little controversial. Sony are making a push for microtransactions. Did you guys hear about this?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
According to DualShockers, well, it's not according to DualShockers. Anybody can look up the record of their earnings calls or whatever. But Sony are saying that they're going to start moving towards a reoccurring user base. So, like kind of like Microsoft, they're going to start keeping track of users of their platforms. They're going to go by the numbers, which is really where the industry's at. You don't make much money off the hardware. So they're going to go off of users, and they're going to start making a push for more microtransactions in their ecosystems, and that's just the way things are headed, man. And that's according to DualShockers. If you want to know more about that, of course, you can simply Google it if you are in disbelief. Anybody here surprised?
I'm not surprised at all. I think that this is the way games are going. It's a trend that will not die. It seems like, people are in the market for these
fuck is your problem, Fonz? It's business.
I understand it's business. I totally get it. But at the same time, it affects our games. And why is this shit going into single player games anyway? It makes no fucking sense. And people that buy it, fuck you. You shouldn't be buying this stuff in single player games. It's ridiculous. But anyway, this is.
If you hate Fonz now, just feel free to unleash that hate on his channel. Find him on YouTube. J Fonz Early.
Go ahead. But anyway,
he's right though.
It sucks that it's getting bombarded into these single player experiences now, and I'm just looking at this whole situation going, if anything is going to kill single player gaming, this is it. This is going to kill gaming eventually. It's going to because people are going to get tired of having to pay for this stuff. It's going to come to a point where yes, it will be pay to win or it will be pay to to beat the game, and it's ridiculous, man. Like, how much are they going to nickel and dime us, people? Wake up.
Yeah, and if it's got to be something that needs to happen, which, let's face it, especially now that Sony are talking about it out loud too, which they've been scheming for a little bit. Cosmetic stuff is the way to go. Just to remind developers out there, cosmetic stuff is the way to go. Give them a healthy assortment of options from the get-go, and then maybe add some stuff in later. And hey, maybe pay $1 for a fucking outfit. Something that League of Legends does it very well, except for some of their shit's really expensive. So don't do that part, but take that model.
Well, that's just it. Like, the single player stuff is phenomenal. I mean, Sony's had some amazing games that are single player only, right? And they continue to bring out a lot of single player games. And unfortunately, the nature of the beast with those type of games is they're one and done. So basically, they don't make residual revenue.
Not necessarily true.
The majority of them are, though, outside of DLC, right? You might be able to buy a map pack, not necessarily a map pack, but you might be able to buy a new story-based thing, like Horizon Zero Dawn's the Frozen Wild expansion. But, like, outside of that, even when you sell that, once that is done and people have completed it, where that game goes. It goes in the old stack of pile and gathers dust, and it's forgotten about, and people move on to the next big thing. And I think what they're trying to do is those games, like say Uncharted, they generally, Uncharted has multiplayer, so it's probably not a good choice to use that one. But games like Horizon Zero Dawn that don't have multiplayer.
Why do you think Uncharted has multiplayer though?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. But for those games like the Persona 5s, the Nier Automatas, and games like this, and especially the Sony games, Horizon probably one of the bigger ones. That's going to do 3 or 4 million copies. So if they can find a way to squeeze another few bucks out of that by throwing in, hey, you can buy a new bathing suit for Aloy. There's people out there who'll buy it.
Wow. Now keep that bitch wrapped up in fur. I ain't worried about all that shit. So, yeah, people forget, too, just because something could be a service-based game does not mean that it can't have an awesome single player attached. We've seen that several times. So people read into this stuff, service-based games, too much, and people use it out of context a lot. And I just heard today somebody talking about microtransactions, and they mentioned Forza 7. And I'm thinking, man, why are you mentioning Forza 7? There are none right now, and loot boxes are not microtransactions. So, until it happens, it's like leave it out of the equation, I just don't think it's worth talking about. Geez, we're going to talk about D, this is your moment to come alive, bro. Take a big whiff of Pine Sol. We're talking about this PC build from PC World. And I'm going to let you lead the charge. But first, I want to say thanks to almost 550 people watching us live. Let's try to get up to over 300 likes before the end of the show. And if you're watching after the fact, let's try to get up to 1,000. It really helps a lot. We do appreciate the fact that you guys do this stuff. D, tell us about this PC World build and all this stuff going on, man.
Okay, so I did a video earlier this week on this, and PC World, they're basically tomorrow morning, they're going to put together a PC Xbox One build. Now, they already failed because they were unable to get it at $500. It wasn't even close. They're at roughly at $700 to $750 right now with this build. And it doesn't have the same amount of RAM. For some reason, they excluded a controller. I don't know why, but they don't have a controller in this build.
They have a mouse or keyboard?
Yeah. No, I don't think they. I don't think the mouse.
Either way, I mean, it's
They don't have a 4K HDR Blu-ray drive. They could only put a 4K. A Blu-ray drive in it. They said that they were going to add the 4K HDR Blu-ray drive. You need a specific board. You need a higher chip, an i5, and it brought the price up by like almost 50%, and then the whole build would be like $900, $1,000. So they can't build the same thing. They're also putting in on RX 580, which is a little bit weaker than the Xbox GPU, but maybe they can clock it a bit. I don't know what they're going to do there. But it's I guess it'll be close enough. Kind of, sort of, but no. It still isn't, because there's a lot of things that you're missing. Okay, this, you won't be able to record 4K HDR with what they're building. Of course, you're not going to have the 4K Blu-ray player, and it's not going to have the exact same performance either, because the Xbox One X, of course, is optimized, right? So
let me reiterate on this really quickly. So for one, you don't have the memory bandwidth. You're way short. You're at 256 gigabytes per second of memory bandwidth, not 326, almost 100 gigs less per second.
It's a lot.
Secondly, you don't have a 4K Blu-ray player, so it does not have the capability, all the capabilities the Xbox One X has. Third, you don't have you don't have the price point down. So this build is already coming out to over $700. Keep in mind, this is coming from PCWorld.com, a site that a lot of PC guys would use to brag about stuff in the past. Now is telling you, your own fucking demigods are telling you that you're going to have to pay around $700, and you're not going to be skimping out with the base model, bottom of the barrel CPUs or any of this stuff. It's just not going to happen. It's not a smart way to play PC gaming. Anybody that has any knowledge about it knows you don't just go buy the cheapest shit you can. That's just the dumbest advice anyone can ever give you. So you're quite a bit more expensive. You don't have some of the capability. You might have more options for more frame rates, depending on CPU per game basis. But of course, that's not even guaranteed with games like Assassin's Creed Origins out there. i7s are having a hard time locking 60 frames, and that's just a matter of optimization. So I don't know, man. It seems like a lose at that price point. $500, you just can't compete.
And just the fact that it has 100 less gigabytes of bandwidth, it really hurts it in 4K performance.
Mm-hmm. I know we don't have too many tech people in here, but of course, Lucas, she's a secret tech god. Give us just knowing that you don't really have a grasp on the hardware as much. What do you get? Like, what if someone that didn't know much about the tech heard this? What would you think about this? Comparing it to what you've been told on Twitter and what's possible and what they can give you for $500.
Well, I would say that all the guys on Twitter who are saying that it's possible to have a PC build for $500 are, they're full of shit, as per usual. I'm not surprised that it's coming out to be like $800, $900. There's a lot of caveats.
With a 4K Blu-ray, yeah.
Yeah, like I guess you can make this PC equivalent to the X, but it's going to have a shit ton of caveats, and it's just kind of like, why would I skimp out on the best? Like, I could just get this system and just have it and be done with it instead of getting shitty parts. Like, I don't know. I don't understand why PC players are even in the conversation. They're PC players. Stick to the PC. Stop interjecting your unwanted opinion into the console space. We do not care. Okay, we don't care. Let it go.
Furthermore, why put together something that you could already just buy if you're trying to do like for like here? What the fuck is the point?
Facts. Like, what's
the point?
Like, I don't get it, And just hearing this just makes me say, all right, cool. I mean, I figured it was something like that. I don't believe any of the fanboys on Twitter who were like, well, you can do this and you can do this. And you don't have to buy an X. Why are you so concerned about where people are spending their money? Like,
why are you so worried about where Lucas spends her money?
Do not be concerned about where I'm spending my money. That's all I have to say. Just let it go. Let people enjoy what they want. Let people buy these consoles if they want. Not everyone wants to fiddle with PC. Like, not everyone wants to play on a PC.
Of console gaming.
Like, they like the simplicity. If I want to game on a PC, I'd be gaming on a PC right now. But I don't want to do that. I want to go home after my 40-hour work week, and I want to sit on my ass, and I want to fucking turn on my TV, and I want my system to work, and I just want to play my games. I don't want to have to fiddle with anything.
Hey, you know what they're going to say, though? They're going to, because here's the thing with a lot of PC guys, and keep in mind, even though I prefer to play on the Xbox, I rarely play on the PC. I've been playing Forza on the Xbox. I played a lot of Shadow War on the Xbox. I'm playing Wolfenstein on the Xbox. I'm an Xbox guy, even though I have an i7, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and a GTX 1080 now. I still prefer to play on console. Is that so hard to believe? I just prefer it. I like it. People like what they like. So, it is what it is, guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, I prefer sometimes to go out to a fancy restaurant and eat like a $10 hamburger, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you know what? So a lot of times you end up settling for, the little cheapie, the little stack pack at McDonald's, because it's quick, it's easy, and it doesn't require you to sit down for a half an hour and have to tip a waiter and buy a drink and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's the same thing for PC. And I think the majority of people that have a really good PC, they've spent a lot of money and invested and actually know what the hell they're talking about. They're confident in their rig, and they know that the Xbox is a very comparable, very capable machine, the Xbox One X, for that $500. But they're not disputing the fact they're comfortable with with what they have. I mean, it's like waving the biggest dick in the room. If you know you got a 12-inch penis, you don't need to go out and defend yourself every 5 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, it's just these people that are have an inferiority complex that gotta constantly like, hey, we can do
they'll
it for
rag on
this.
fanboys, Noof, but they're the ones interjecting and jumping into Xbox video comment sections and on Twitter. They are the ultimate fanboys. So
yeah, one of the biggest things is like they'll just come to you and say, "I canceled my X pre-order." It's like, bitch, you never even pre-ordered an X. Get out of here.
Also,
with that.
no one cares. Why are you coming to me saying I canceled my sir? Okay. Like what? What does that have to do with me? Like, go about your business.
I got a little story, a
They're
behind the
so
scenes
threatened.
story. I was talking to Colt on the phone earlier, and he said, "Well, I Steam share with a buddy on the PC," and he said, "Hey, send me $20. I'll get Wolfenstein. We'll play it on the PC, whatever." So Colt got Wolfenstein on the PC. Well, turns out when Colt launches his Wolfenstein, trust me, no other PC gamers really, myself, Colt, we just say how it is. We got problems sometimes. Other times, like with Shadow War, the games run perfectly. But with Wolfenstein for Colt, he would boot it up, and it would boot up into 720p. It would only take up a part of the screen, and he has no resolution option, so he can't do 1440. He's stuck at 720 or 4K for some reason. And the game, his 1070 can't do 4K 60 consistently. He can only do it in the hub world, the submarine. It's like at high 50s. And in the open world, and most of the game, it's going to drop to mid 30s most likely. And he can't get any kind of resolution to compromise and make his experience well. It's just not a good experience. So he's going to play it on the X. Some people just like consistency.
Dealer, you're a liar, because there's never any problems on PC. That's all I hear.
I know, right? Well, you never hear, and that's the thing with real PC YouTubers, Jay's 2 cents, even Linus Tech Tips. A lot of these guys are just honest about their problems. It's very clear and known that PC gaming has problems, and that's not a knock on the platform. That's just facts. But when you hear these guys talk about the X, like Linus, they're not just ragging on it. They respect powerful products in the industry. So if they got a powerful cell phone, they're like, hey, you got to give it props. Powerful Xbox, they're going to say the same thing. That's just how they are. They're not fanboys. They're just going to try to keep it real, even though they prefer the platform. If you're a console guy, they're just going to tell you, hey, this is probably the best console by far. I think we're giving PC too much time. This isn't a fucking PC podcast. So I'm going to talk about. Go ahead. I know you got. I should have known D has something to say about it.
As a PC gamer, no, you know what triggers them? It's when articles come out or developers come out and say that the Xbox One X is comparable to a high-end PC, and they all go, "No, it's not. I paid $2,000 for my rig. There's no way." And they just get really pissed off. And the truth of the matter is that it is very close to it, and it's a great deal. If anything, all these people trying to build and emulate what the Xbox One X is doing, and they can't do it for the same price, just tells me Xbox One X is a great value. And I got a PC, I got a high-end PC, and I'm looking forward to the Xbox One X, because that means I can take it to my office, I can play it on my TVs there, I can take it to the bedroom, I can play it, because I don't always play all my games on PC. And the only reason why I switched to PC is because, to be honest with you, the Xbox One, the regular one, it was just lacking. It was just really anemic for me, and I just couldn't do it anymore. But now that it's back up to par, I miss the console community. I miss playing with my friends. On PC, fucking nobody talks, man. Half of these guys don't have a mic, or they're fucking typing some text on my fucking screen. Like,
yeah. What's up with this Nazi bitch in the comments, bro? You need to chill the fuck out, man. Put a gun in your mouth. Fucking hate crime motherfucker. Any tolerance for that shit around here. So back in other news, we're going to talk about Paris Games Week. A lot of good news. We talked about a little bit earlier, but we got to talk about some Sony stuff here, because games are games, and this is what's going on. Last of Us 2 CG trailer looked absolutely phenomenal, but according to some, of course, that's what the real game looks like, right? Because it's probably in some kind of real engine cutscene, right? No, the game will never look like that, but it did look cool. And it's visceral, man. That's the one way to explain this Last of Us 2 cinematic. Fonz, what do you think about this?
Yeah, well, people that know me know that Last of Us is my second favorite game of all time. This game just looks to expand on that whole, universe. It looks like it could be a flashback or whatnot. I don't want to speculate, but the game looks phenomenal nonetheless. It's got that whole, like, it had me intrigued the whole time I was watching.
Hang on, see, we already got a fraud in the fucking in-game cutscene. Just because it's in-engine or in the renderer does not mean that's what the game's going to look like when you start playing it. We all know that. Look at you can look at any game in the current generation. The cutscenes might be in-engine, but all of those LODs are scaled back when you're in-game. Look at Gears of War 4 on the Xbox One S. Those cutscenes, in-engine. Is that what the game looks like all around? Looks great, but it's nowhere near that good looking. Same for Uncharted 4. Those cutscenes look phenomenal. In-game looks great, but those cutscenes will look a lot better than that real-time gameplay. So let's not go around acting like Last of Us 2 is going to look like that.
It's kind of like how Uncharted 4 is, okay? The cutscenes look phenomenal. The gameplay looks phenomenal, but does it look as good as the cutscenes? Not quite. So it's going to be the same type of thing.
Don't act like Last of Us 2 is going to look like that while you're shooting and running around and shit.
In any case, it looks like a phenomenal game. And somebody asked me in the chat my very favorite game of all time, Red Dead Redemption. So.
Looks phenomenal. Any other opinions on Last of Us 2?
Yeah, I thought it looked crazy, dude. Like that one scene, and spoiler alert for the trailer, but when that guy went to, he broke her arm with the hammer. Oh man, I was cringing the entire time. It was crazy.
Yes. Yeah, that was crazy.
I definitely get the feeling that the new Last of Us 2 will definitely up the ante, like with the emotional choices and conflicts that the characters have had to deal with from the first game carrying over to the second game. And it was a really cool trailer, if nothing else. I mean, it definitely one of the best games of all time. And, anybody that has a PlayStation, I'm pretty sure is pretty excited about this one. But the big question is when is it coming out? I got a feeling it's still a long ways away.
Yeah, they said this year that it was in early development. So
I say end of 2019.
Yeah, it does look good. And Last of Us 2, like it or hate it, we got a lot of hardcore Xbox guys in here. But of course, I just keep shit real. The Last of Us had a compelling story. Neil Druckmann, he's a guy that Sony are paying a lot of money to keep at Naughty Dog, undoubtedly. And I think Naughty Dog are the essential studio for Sony. And in my opinion, they possess the only absolute must-buy game on the PS4, which is Uncharted 4. I'm not saying they don't have other good games, but in my opinion, that's the game that you got to get because you can get Last of Us on PS3 or whatever. So you got to respect talent there. Look great, look visceral, and that's what we want to see. We want to see that kind of stuff. I like to see Microsoft do more narratives like this. Don't be afraid to put stuff out there like that.
My PS4 is the Naughty Dog machine. That's the only reason why I really have a PS4 is for their Naughty Dog games. Like, I have to be honest, that trailer, it blew me away. Just the little details, like after they hung her and she cut herself down, you could see the veins popping in her head from the lack of oxygen. You could see the rope tie burns on her hand. It was just well detailed. And the atmosphere, I felt like I was watching The Walking Dead on a Sunday night. Like, it was dark, and man, I'm really hyped for this game. I'm not going to expect it to look like that, because let's go by their track record. All the time when they release a trailer, when it comes to the retail release, it's been downgraded quite a bit. So I don't think it'll look as good, but I'm still excited for the game.
But you still can't downplay it too much, because if you look at Uncharted 4 on the PS4 Pro, it is a thing of beauty. Thing of beauty.
Definitely.
Yeah, 1440p on the Pro, but no other enhancements. Unfortunately, I was just playing through that a few months. Last time I turned my Pro on, which was a few months back. So, once again, look forward to good games. As somebody said in the chat, give credit where credit's due. I would definitely appreciate something like that on the Xbox. That's just rock solid facts.
There's something there's something amazing about the talented teams over at Naughty Dog and over at Guerrilla as well, who did Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, something about, their shaders and textures and different things that they do better than a lot of devs out there.
Yeah, I think it's, keep in mind their base model for their console that their game is exclusive on is the most powerful base model, affording them a slightly higher ceiling to do more things as well. So the games are going to look good. The exclusive games are always going to look good. And, with the X coming out, people are really going to understand what good looks like. But on all of their games, the multiplats are going to look better than the exclusives used to, easily. So Spider-Man, we got to talk about that real quick. Looked interesting. They're calling it Marvel's Spider-Man. First time I've heard this. Didn't really care for the out of Spider-Man type stuff in the cutscene or in the trailer, but I'll be picking it up. At the very least, renting it is probably a 10-hour playthrough. Be done with it after that, probably.
I think that'll be their biggest exclusive hit next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, don't believe some people just because there ain't been very many good spy. Okay, the crazy crackheads back in the chat again. You are persistent, fuck. Go build a house or something. You can do great things with your time.
Build a house.
Jesus Christ. So yeah,
I gotta mention, but I gotta mention one thing because we overlooked something earlier that I totally overlooked when you were talking about the smaller games. That new Sucker Punch game that they're putting out there, the game that kind of reminded me of Tenchu. That game, Ghost of Tsushima or Tsushima.
Yes, Tsushima.
But
Tsushima.
Anyway, that game looks like it could be a good game. So be on the lookout for that.
Was that a pre-rendered trailer or what?
Yeah, it was. So, but I'm
they confirmed that it's in-game engine as well. That's what the developer said. They said the entire trailer was in-game.
So be sure and screen cap that whole trailer, and let's just get ready to see how much it got fucking downgraded.
But it's Sucker Punch.
In real time just don't look that good in action. It just doesn't happen. So,
But I mean, a new IP from Sony, Sucker Punch. That's huge. It's like when I saw that, I was like, okay, man, Microsoft, your move. You got to do something. You got to answer.
A new IP though, Jay. God of War is almost like a new IP at this point. They've really changed everything about God of War. He's now got the fucking hammer from Thor that comes to him at a button press, which looks pretty cool. Not sold on the combat quite yet. And we don't know where the narrative's at, but I'm pretty sure they got Neil Druckmann driving a little truck back and forth to each studio. All right, you need a good story here, get a little kid over here. I mean, you just never know. So we'll see. That's early 2018, where Spider-Man just said 2018, so that'll probably be a fall title.
Yeah, what's cool about Spider-Man is it looks like it's a total departure from the movies. Like it's its own thing from the comics. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
The only thing that troubled me is the way Peter Parker looked. I don't know. I just
me too. I gotta agree.
I'm not feeling it.
Yeah. The way he looked. Everything else about that trailer was impeccable. I loved the Spider-Man costume and the combat looks like it's doing what Arkham does. So.
Hey, you know how much we just praise these games, right? On an Xbox-centric podcast, we still got a couple of idiots with their sound off saying we sound salty. We just said these are quintessential games that you should probably look into. They look great for the most part. Not going to be sold on some shit I've not seen very much of, like a fanboy would. So I'm going to wait and see more. That's basically the bottom line. So. It looks good. We'll have to see more before I'm sold on God of War 100%. Getting it.
For me, God of War is blowing my mind. I've always been a God of War fan. It's a big reason, long before Uncharted became popular, that I gravitated to the PlayStation format. I just love it. But what I like where they're going with Kratos at the same time is he is more realized than ever. With the graphic technology, I find he actually looks grizzled, like a grizzled veteran. He looks like he's been through a lot, and he doesn't seem like the old games. He seemed like a more one-dimensional character. So I think they're trying to flesh him out a little bit, because in the old games he seemed like he was just really pissed off and angry at the world, and I guess he had right to be, but it was always like every time you seen him in a cutscene, it's like, I'm gonna rip off your arm, and now he's kind of like he's a dad and he's trying to pass on stuff. So I think they're taking.
What do you guys think of the kid?
I don't know. I didn't like the little clip of voice acting I heard, but
oh my god, he was so annoying. I was talking to All Day about this on the phone.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm sorry. He sounds annoying, and All Day he's like, it's a kid, Luca. I'm like, listen, I don't have any children. When I'm playing games, I'm not trying to think about any children like this. So I don't know.
All day on damage control for them Sony games, though. Him.
Well,
yeah, I hope the voice acting is better when the game actually comes out, because I'm not feeling the kid right now.
Hey, we got to get a couple questions in, Fonz, after your statement here, bud.
Yeah, I'm not damage controlling, but I will say, though, that All Day, since he's not here, I will repeat what he said, that, the game needs to move on. It needs to move forward. It was stuck in a certain situation with that same camera angle forever. The same Kratos that just wanted to destroy everything, and now they're giving new life into the game. So let's see what it's like when it comes out. That's all.
Okay. Scratch the questions. We're actually running low on time. We lost track of time.
Here's real quick. One question here from Old School Style: will RDX be doing anything special for the launch day of the X?
Oh, yeah, that's actually a good eye there, Fonz. We're actually doing RDX next Monday. Yes, Monday. at 8 p.m. Eastern. So it won't be Tuesday. It'll be Monday because of the X. On Tuesday, I'm not even going to class, to be honest. I know people that are calling off. I'm not going to class. We're all going to be gaming, having a good time, and we're not going to do a podcast. You guys probably aren't going to watch a podcast. So we're doing a launch event for the Xbox One X at 8 p.m. Eastern. That Monday, the launch is at midnight. So tune in then for everything there.
Bro, when is the review embargo lifted? Neverland one
on the 3rd.
November 3rd.
Okay, so
yeah,
there you go.
But I want to get into the Paris Games Week stuff with Xbox. Aaron Greenberg had teased a few days ago that there was going to be something very exciting for Xbox there. And, of course, since then, I think that came out today, PUBG is coming out December 12th on the Xbox. And, of course, they are now marketing it as an Xbox console exclusive. Keep in mind that it was a little kind of weird before, but they never locked it down. Now they've shifted their marketing to Xbox console exclusive. Did they lock this down, Luca? What do you think? All right, D. Well, did they lock this down? What do you think?
I don't know, because you would. It says console exclusive, but it could be timed, because Tomb Raider did the same thing, said console exclusive, and we all know the story on that. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say.
I'm with D.
So you two think the same thing. What about you, Fonz? Do you think Microsoft realized, hey, we need to lock this down? It's a juggernaut. It could be massive for us. Or do you think they're going to let it go after a year?
I think they're going to let it go after a year, knowing Microsoft's track record as of late, unfortunately.
Yeah, it very well could be. Myself, I don't know. I'll kind of come back to me. Noof, what do you think? You think they locked it down, or they're letting it go?
I think, again, a timed exclusive. I know a lot of us, we think that Microsoft should lock it up permanently. But I think, again, I think it's timed exclusive, simply because I said, I agree with you guys, Microsoft's track record lately. And I think if they did lock it down already, I think they would have made it known news. Like, I think that would have been something they would have tried to put out there. That sort of thing. So I'm not sure, but the fact, that they're basically spending money to help co-develop the game, and they're running it on Azure servers, and they're using tech from the Rare guys to help with water tech, and they're basically doing it through game preview and stuff here coming up pretty soon. It's kind of weird, that they still put the console exclusives. Who knows? But what I'm thinking as well is they probably have a clause in their contract where basically they're watching the sales of this game, and they're probably going to see where it starts to play out over the next 6 or 7 months. And I think if it's going in the direction that Microsoft hopes that it will, like if the user base stays active, then they'll probably try to do something with it.
Hey, Gunny FPS says in the chat that Gears of War 4 apparently says Xbox console exclusive as well. And we know that's not going to Sony, so that's worth keeping in mind. I think the release date alone is massive news from Paris Games Week. December 12th, 2017 is when you're going to be able to get your hands on PUBG. And the latest from their studio, I do believe in Spain, that the ones that are making the console version say that the game, this was months ago, they say the game was running over 40 FPS already on 100-man servers months ago. So it's very likely that you could get a 60 frames per second mode. Keep in mind that multiplayer stuff alleviates.
I don't believe that at all. I think it'll be locked.
You don't believe the developers?
I don't believe it. Yeah, they'll be locked at 30, I'm sure.
Well, you keep in mind that multiplayer, just like Gears, multiplayer is generally not CPU bound because there is no AI. It's all real world players. So
yeah, but isn't PUBG like? Doesn't it have huge maps? Like it's really big.
That's mostly going to be a GPU task.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's not a question of the 6 teraflops number. If it's going to be held back from 60, it's going to be a CPU issue.
Believe you me, I'm hoping that it's got 60 frames per second. That's what I really want. But at the end of the day, I just don't have my hopes up. So,
well, the fact that it was running 40 months ago, and I believe the guys when they say this, I don't know why he would lie. If I were going to lie, I'd say something better, or I would at least back it down. Maybe they'll lock it at 30 and make it super locked, but maybe they won't. You never know.
At launch, is it going to be crossplay?
I think so. I'm not sure, though. I know they're using Azure Cloud Network, so, I don't know. They might do crossplay between Windows 10 and Xbox, but I don't think they'll do crossplay between Steam and Xbox. I don't think they'll need to, though. I think you have a ton of people to play with, and if they can, that's even better, I guess. So I don't know. Anyone in here plan on getting PUBG? Day one, minute one, second one?
I'm gonna get PUBG, but I'm just unsure. Is it a play anywhere?
Not sure.
Uh-oh. So does that mean you want to play on your PC, D?
You know what? In all honesty, if it hits 60 frames per second on the Xbox One X, I'll get on the Xbox One X just for the community. But
here we go. You're sticking with your PC again. Thanks. You announced it here, right here on RDX.
Someone says, "Stop it! It's a CPU task, not a GPU." No, rendering a map in is going to be highly GPU and VRAM heavy. This is not going to be dictated by the CPU entirely. So I don't know where the fuck you got that information from. Probably don't want to listen to those people again. So yeah, keep in mind the system's going to work in tandem to give you what you need. It is no one part, but primarily it's going to be a GPU task along with that VRAM. So we'll see what happens, guys. Thanks so much for listening. We know it's Halloween. We know a lot of you guys obviously didn't have plans. That's why you're here. We appreciate it. Hit that like button, and we're going to do some outros. Thanks for listening. We'll be back again next week, Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Keep that in mind. Luca, what have you been up to? Where can people find you?
What? You guys can find me on Twitter at the Ashton Luca, and I'll post any links to any podcast I appear on. And I just want to say this was a really good night. You know, I always have a good time with D and Newfawn, and it was a good show. Fuck that Nazi dude in the chat. You're not gonna win, man. Just let it go. All right, just let it go.
Just trust us. If we gave you more attention, you get destroyed even harder. So just be glad we don't. We just take it easy on you. D, what have you been up to, bro? Thanks for showing up to the show. How you been? Where can people find you?
You can find me at D_batch on Twitter and DBatch on YouTube. And I want all you guys out there that think that you can build a PC equivalent to the Xbox One X for $500. Check out my video on my channel and watch the video tomorrow morning on PCWorld.com, and you'll see that you cannot do it. Apart from that, I'm chilling.
$700, bro, on average. Fonzarelli, where can people find you, bro?
On Twitter, they can find me at jfonzarelli and jfonzarelli right here on YouTube. And I just put out a video today. Go watch it if you want to hear more of my in-depth thoughts on the whole Sony experience thing that they had at the Paris Games Week and EA.
Yeah. And Nuke, thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. It is always an honor and a pleasure to be with such a charismatic and energetic panel who is in the know. Good stuff. Great show as always. Again, thanks for having me here. I would normally see you'd find me on Xbox Nation tomorrow night, but I won't be there. I have other commitments that I have to attend to, so I won't be back on any podcast probably till early next week as we approach the launch of the Xbox One X. So happy Halloween, everybody. Thanks for stopping in and joining the show in the chat. You've been awesome, except for one or two turd nuggets. And great stuff, Dealer. Thanks again for having me here, bro.
Yeah. And once again, guys, if you want to participate in the RDX live show question, we do this every week. We didn't get as many this week because we just ranted on about so much stuff. Follow me at dealer_gaming, and I'll put that post out the day of the show. And trust me, you got to have your question underneath that post, or we probably won't get to it. Also, if you want to follow me on Xbox Live, II_dealer_II. And, of course, subscribe for stuff like this. And thanks once again, guys. We'll be back next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern for the Xbox One X launch hype show. It's happening. It's close. Be excited. The best-looking games you've ever seen in your life, especially if you're a console guy. It's a phenomenal time to be a gamer. So we're out, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye.